The Europeans have decided to move to America. So it started off as a joke, right, with the World Cup, the series, everything going on as far as politics. It was a joke saying, oh, people from Europe are coming to America, but it appears that it may be real now. It's beyond a joke, and it is an actual fact that there is a highlight in the number of Europeans who are deciding to leave their countries and come to America after they realize it's not what they've been told this whole time. Now, I've seen this clip here online, and I say, you know what, let's look at this clip to see what this guy has to say, because he has some interesting points as far as why the Europeans are leaving and deciding to come to America. I think it's dope. So let's play this clip.
Western media have portrayed America as an industrial wasteland full of violence, toxic chemicals, and lack of culture. But the arrival of 40,000 European fans in Boston during the recent World Cup has sparked an unprecedented cognitive shock.
So what happened is you're going to see it's not what they've been told this whole time.
No violence, just beer kegs emptied 4 times more than on Independence Day, $20,000 charity checks, and warm hugs from American police.
So basically, there is a stereotype, and there's a saying also that says there's a little bit of truth in every stereotype. Take that as you will. But there's a stereotype where people from other countries think of America as a truly dangerous place, right? I've been to quite a few countries at this point, and sometimes when I meet people, I'll ask them, like, hey, would you ever move to America? I'm currently in Bangkok, Thailand, by the way, right? I was just asking this girl, would you ever move to America? She's like, nah, too dangerous, right? I see other content creators, they ask people, would you ever move to America? And you'd be surprised by how many of them say it's too dangerous, right? Now, I'm not saying there is no danger in America, but I'm just saying, like other places in the world, there's good parts and there's bad parts. You got to remember, USA, for all my Europeans, USA is a very large country, right? Very, very large. There are some areas that are very safe where generally you don't have to worry about things as far as kidnappings, robbery, assault charge, etc. But then there's certain areas where you got to be more on point, right? It may not be as safe as somewhere like Singapore or maybe Japan or Malaysia, but there are some certain safe areas. But let's continue, shall we?
Because of that, a reverse wave of migration is erupting as Europeans are gathering to pack their bags and leave their homeland for good. Is it the old continent itself that is cold, bureaucratic, and toxic? Today, let us delve into the shocking real-life experiences that explain why millions of European citizens are ready to flock to transatlantic flights in search of a truly free life in real America.
Yeah. He just talks about the media basis, right? So he's talking about how the media portrays it. Man, it's like Grand Theft Auto. There's just people just firing openly, doing all this wild stuff. Look what we have here. The same couple I made a video about previously. But yeah, this couple right here, they moved to Tennessee. They found it to be safe, loving, etc. They're like, hey, I want to stay here.
In Europe, but we still prefer to go to the States.
The truth is that when stepping off the screen, America appears incredibly relaxed, safe, and chill. Have I wasted half my life fearing a ghost that doesn't exist? European television stations now look like outdated entities clinging to old stories.
Yeah, and you'll even see that with the images of certain people, right? I was just thinking about this, and I don't want to go too deep into like politics and race and things of that nature. But even me as a African-American male, I come to Asia, it's cool, right? But I can see clearly there is what's the best way I can say this? There is an idea of how an African-American male is, and people who have little to no experience dealing with African-American people, they believe that that idea is all, defines the whole population, right? So you'll see that. And so it's not just with my group, I would say it's the whole group. I was just giving that one example because you'll see that people believe that they'll be persecuted I was speaking to a Chinese fellow, and he was telling me how one of the reasons why he doesn't want to go to America, as he says, because he believes, these are his words, not mine. He believes, from what he's told and seen, that Asian Americans are still seen as foreigners or outsiders in America. And I thought that, I was like, oh, I thought about what he truly said. I was like, that's an interesting notice right there, you know? And it made me wonder. I was like, I could kind of see that perspective, but I could also feel like it depends on what part of the state you're at. Going back to the states being large, because I feel like if you're on the West Coast or the East Coast, there's a high Asian population. They're used to seeing Asians. Like, I was living in San Francisco for a while. There's a city 10 minutes outside of San Francisco called Daly City. They nickname it Little Manila because it's like majority Filipino people. But if you're in San Francisco, you'll see it got to be at least a third of the population is Chinese. You go an hour south to San Jose, they got a big Vietnamese community. So it's like, I think it truly depends on where you're at. Because if you're in somewhere like the middle of North Dakota, where it's like probably 80+% Caucasian people, sprinkle of Latinos, and then a couple Native Americans, you're going to be an outsider there. But if you go to like California, Nevada, Washington, Oregon, New York, Maryland, it's going to be normal. Virginia, especially Northern Virginia, it's going to be a little more normal, a little more accepted. So all the people who are considering watching who have never been here, well, I'm currently in Thailand, but who have never been to America, I would say don't give up on your dream. It could help you to at least check it out. I would just say do some research before you go. Because it's like me. If I look at, for example, if I look at Germany, or if I look, let me give you a better example. If I look at Sweden, I know very little about Sweden, so I don't know, okay, how is it in northern Sweden versus southern Sweden? How is it in the big cities versus small cities? Do I dress like this, etc.? If you don't have that experience there, you may make some mistakes or you may make some assumptions that may or may not be true. So I say that to say this, do some research. If you're a European, you could be Italian, you could be Spanish, Portuguese, or maybe you're from Nigeria, maybe you're from South Africa. Wherever you're at in the world and you're considering coming to America, at least to visit, maybe to potentially leave, I would just say do some research. Try to meet with some Americans prior to going. Go to Google, use AI, try to chat with some people on Instagram, something like that, so you can get a taste of the different cultures, the different cities within America. Because there are a lot of cultures in America, right? It's not just a small group, right? You got so many different flavors, so many colors, cultures, belief systems, etc. You could go to one area of America and draw inspiration, and then go to another area, and it'll be completely different. So that's an interesting thing about America, and one thing that I love about America, to be honest with you. But let's play a little bit more of this.
European tourists are immediately overwhelmed by a dense fence of proud American flags waving. The most astonishing thing, making people rub their eyes in disbelief, is the miraculous coexistence of symbols. Right next to the American flag, the people proudly hang the flags of their ancestral countries, the flags of Ireland, Germany, Scotland, or France.
Oh yeah, that's another thing, because I don't think I've seen that in other countries too much. Usually if I see it, it will be like at a government building or like some type of official building or office, something downtown, and I'll just see it briefly. But sometimes you'll see in America, there will be different flags next to each other. And then more times than not, it's not a hostility thing. It's like honoring the people that came before you, or showing your ancestry, or just saying you're proud to be this. And from my experience, typically people don't feel, or Americans I should say specifically, don't feel a negative emotion towards it. Like, for example, let's say there is an American flag, a Puerto Rican flag, a Jamaican flag, a Nigerian flag, a Chinese flag, and they're all in this bar, kind of similar like to this scene right here, how you have the different ones. People aren't usually tripping off of that. They're like, oh, okay, cool, we got different tastes out here. Like, people typically don't be like, oh man, take this one down, or why you got all these different flags, unless you're maybe in a small town, or you're in somewhere deep in the South where they're just super close-minded. They don't want to see anyone outside of themselves. But for the most part, if you're in a medium-sized city or if you're in a large city, Miami, LA, Seattle, Portland, Oregon, things of that nature, I think you'll be completely fine. I actually believe that this event, as far as the World Cup, can bring people together. I briefly mentioned this in a previous video. By the way, for all the people who are new to watching me, make sure you check out all my other content similar to this, and make sure you also hit the like, subscribe, comment, share, hype, all that type of stuff. But I talked about this in another video. I'm just going to say this here briefly. I think this event is slowly bringing people together, right? You've seen in the clip they had a Korean guy partying with a Mexican. Or you see this clip right here, you see all these different flags. Or all these people who would have never came to America are now coming to America.
This is the true definition of a melting pot. The American social system does not force you to assimilate in an extreme way. You can be a passionate, patriotic American citizen while still cherishing and preserving your roots without fearing anyone's judgment. This diversity inadvertently creates a psychological safety filter.
And I agree with that to the most part. Like, there's always going to be exceptions, right? But like this guy right here, this gentleman, how he's wearing this hat. Most adults in America are not going to give him a problem for that. Or in the previous clip, they showed a guy with his country flag wearing it on his back. For the most part, people are not going to trip. So you don't have to feel... I know if you're in certain other places and you wear other country flags or you dress a certain way, people maybe give you a very hard time. But I would like to think America is a semi-open country, right? No country is 100% perfect. Every country has its pros and its cons. I can acknowledge that. Even as an American, I can say certain things we do wrong or we could do better. But I say, generally speaking, we're trying to figure it out. We're kind of a young country when you compare us to somewhere like Italy, somewhere like China, who's been around for thousands of years. We're kind of a young country, so we're still trying to figure it out. But I would say, generally speaking, we're accepting. And I can see why all these Europeans might want to move here, honestly. So to all my Europeans who are watching and you're considering moving to America, just do some research. Hey, if you even want to ask me some questions, I've been to like a quarter of all the states roughly. So if you got questions about different states, you can always leave it in the comment section. I can try my best to assist you or point you in the right direction. Right now, we do have a smaller channel, which is good in the sense that we can reply to everyone. So I've been replying to every comment, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on TikTok, whether it's on YouTube. I use the same username on all three platforms, so you can definitely follow me on all three platforms to keep up to date with me and to see what I got going on. Now, once I become bigger, it's going to be a little more difficult, but right now we're at a manageable size, so it's good. By the way, let me know what else you want to see in this context. Like, comment, subscribe, all that type of stuff, and I hope everyone has an amazing day.